A very good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio. Where do we begin? It's probably unprecedented. The number of times we've used the word unprecedented in the past 2 months. The center of attention this week, of course, in Washington, the Republican health care plan. Republicans have been pretty much running against the Affordable Care Act since it was passed 7 years ago this week. No one knows that better than Northeast Ohio Congressman Jim Renacci. Renacci won his seat in 2010 to Congress by defeating Democrat John Boccieri based almost solely on Boccieri's vote for Obamacare. Well, Renacci announced this week that he will not be seeking re-election to that congressional seat and instead will be running for governor. An interesting twist, because in supporting the Republican health care plan, he also supports the removal of the 700,000 people on Medicaid expanded under the ACA here in Ohio that he will in turn have to govern over. We talked to him this week about that. What do you say to those people on Medicaid right now?
Sure. Well, here's the real problem. I'm also on the Budget Committee in Washington, and it's unsustainable. So the dollars that are flowing into the state just are unsustainable. We're going to have $10 trillion more added to our deficit in Washington. So at some point in time, as a businessman, you have to look and use the resources you have to do the best things you can. And that's why what we're talking about doing in Washington is giving governors flexibility, giving them block grants and say, you put the programs together. And there's going to have to be some business ideas. There's going to have to be some sharing of risk. And we're going to have to look at ways of making this work. I was a pilot at one point in time too. So if I have that safety net of people behind me, and I believe in the safety net, we have to take care of those people. If I'm flying that plane, number one, I'm not bringing it straight down and crashing it. Number two, the planes, we already have problems with the plane. The wings are starting to disintegrate. The plane can't continue to fly. So the other option is we just let it fly and it crashes. That's not a good answer. The third option, which I believe in, is we look for a nice safety zone and we bring that plane down so that everybody's safe. But if we don't do that, those 700,000 people in Ohio are going to be impacted because the plane, as I say, the wings are starting to fragile and fragment. I mean, this plane can't keep flying.
You have what we'll call a safe seat in Congress. Why give that up?
Well, look, I'm not a career politician, so it's not about being in Congress. It's not about, being in a seat and moving from place to place. That's what's wrong with our system. Too many times, even in Ohio, right now we have a musical chair system where people take a seat, they save it, they move to another seat. We need to break that. We need to get back to where we're putting people in office that have had to live with the rules that career politicians make.
That, of course, is shot at his three likely Republican primary opponents, Mary Taylor, Mike DeWine, and John Husted, all of whom have held other state government posts. Well, the man who will be leaving that post in 22 months, Governor John Kasich, getting a bit of an honor this week. Fortune magazine, in its rank of the top 50 world's greatest leader, lists Kasich number 12. An Ohioan also holds the post in front of him at number 11 is LeBron James. The only American politician ahead of Kasich is Senator John McCain at number 9. It comes as Kasich announced his new book, To Pass America, will be hitting stores in a month, April 25th. I recently talked to the governor about it.
I'm very, very excited about it. This will be my fourth book, but this one is sort of a prescription about how in America, even though we have such differences, we can figure out a way to unite, to pull ourselves together, and to realize one other thing. The strength and the reform of our country doesn't really come from the top down, it comes from the bottom up. What happens in our neighborhoods, in our families, in our communities, that's what really matters in regard to drugs, schools, poverty, so many things.
There's a question in that title, though, United or Divided. Where do we stand as a country right now?
Well, right now we're very polarized. And, I don't think you ever get anywhere in this country when you're spending all your time fighting back and forth. In fact, we see there are families that have become divided, based on their political persuasions or their viewpoints. I mean, it's really pretty remarkable. I hope this is going to fade over time, but the book offers some prescriptions as to how we can deal with this.
Of course, it comes out against a backdrop in Washington where the president has been accused by some of lying to the American people. But as we found, that is a difficult charge to back up. Lie, a simple three-letter verb open to a wide range of interpretation. Safe to say in presidential circles, it dates back to Washington and that cherry tree. While he couldn't tell one, some of his followers
I did not have
been accused of it, not arguably more so in such a short time than President Trump.
And the whole world now knows he lied about it. And his White House is continuing to lie about it.
Donald Trump was lying about Barack Obama. with the wiretap.
We all knew that, but now we know it for sure.
But we get confirmation from the FBI.
But did they? When asked directly about the president's accusation, the former president committed a felony.
Director Comey, was the president's statement that Obama had his wires tapped in Trump Tower a true statement?
The department has no information that supports those tweets.
So untrue? Maybe. But technically, Trump supporters will tell you not a lie, because by definition, a lie requires the difficult-to-prove intent to deceive.
I really do think that the president thinks that he has been under surveillance.
And technically, if the White House believes that, as well as the inaugural crowd size, millions of stolen votes, and the assertion that former campaign chair Paul Manafort was just a grade above volunteer envelope stuffer.
Paul Manafort, who played a very limited role for a very limited amount of time, but beyond...
He was the chairman of the campaign.
Hey, Jonathan, can you stop interrupting other people's questions?
It technically is not a lie. And the beat goes on. With Democracy 2017, I'm John Kasich. Enjoy your Sunday.